What's up, everyone? With the start of a new year, I'm hoping Boruto as an anime and manga has a better year than 2022, because if we're being honest, in my opinion, the series took a step back last year due to pacing issues and focusing on Ada and Damon as characters, and in particular, Ada's character motivation being love. Now, granted, as the story progresses, I'm sure this plot point will expand, but as the chapters were coming out during 2022, I thought to myself, man, characters like Code, who is supposed to be presented as a major character, would have had a better year, on top of getting his limiters removed. But instead, he felt like a side character whenever he shared a scene with Kawaki, Boruto, Ada, or Damon. But maybe it's just me, and maybe that's all he is as a character. But after Jigen or Ishiki was gone, and all Code had was Ishiki's wish, I thought the story would have built on that. And I think one of the best things to come out in 2022 was that we got more Momoshiki taking a more prominent role in the story, especially after Momoshiki saved Boruto's life by sacrificing his chance at resurrecting via karma. So far, it's not looking like it's gonna be a Kurama and Naruto thing where there's a seal between Momoshiki and Boruto, but Momoshiki can come in, share his thoughts, and interject at any time. Not saying that he can take over his body, but there's more interaction between Boruto and Momoshiki, and I think it's made for a better story, especially when we had to deal with the focus on Ada and her character, seeking love as a plot point. Which, if this manga was a weekly chapter, I think that concept would have been a really dope plot. But since it's a monthly chapter, it just feels really slow, and I don't really know who the intended audience is. Whenever the manga is trying to focus on Ada and her reason for being for finding love. You got these two characters who, they're pretty much the strongest characters at the moment, and it's just kind of funny how Ada's flaws is love, which is not a bad thing. It's just that if this was a weekly chapter, we could have focused on it, and then after a month or so, that would have just been it. But when it's a monthly chapter, it kind of felt like it went on forever. But I bet if we look back, it was only a few months. But besides that, I feel like, on the other hand, the anime could have filled in the gaps between the manga by creating arcs around Kara and Outers, or building up characters that don't get much screen time in the manga, like the rest of the next gen, along with Sarada and Mitsuki, rather than the arcs that we did get, like the Funato arc, that even though the premise of that arc was really nice in the beginning, I just think that the downfall was that it just felt too long, and the message of the arc kind of got lost towards the end. My expectations going for the year, for this year, is a return to manga content, and that the story builds up Code as a character and makes him more credible than he was presented in the manga. Is he the main antagonist? Is he supposed to be a villain? Is he someone that we're supposed to look at and say, what, that's the guy that's, gonna be, possibly one of the final bosses? Or is he someone that's gonna be like a potential ally down the line? I think an arc similar to the Kara one would do his character some justice and possibly showcase how much of a badass he can really be, rather than exposing his simp ways around Ada, which, to be honest, isn't really Code's fault. It's just that in the manga, that side of him was focused more. I haven't mentioned Boruto as much because I realized, sadly, Boruto is just Naruto 2.0 at this point of the story, minus wanting to be a Hokage. Instead, his goal is he wants to be like Sasuke, not the Sasuke that was a Hellraiser as a youth, but the adult one that protects the ninja world, a la the world Naruto fought for, which in all honesty is admirable. But when Kawaki entered the scene, I noticed how Boruto had to play the yang to Kawaki's yin. And for those that don't know, the yin and yang element is common in storytelling where the main characters a la your Naruto, Sasuke, Goku, Vegeta, Boruto, Kawaki, they play into opposites, where the yang element or the sun express themselves more outwardly, whereas an audience we know where they stand. They kind of they stand out more. Like that they're the main characters, and the yin element or the moon is more inwardly, or they're not able to communicate their emotions as well as their opposites. And for the most part, both elements are meant to come together to represent balance and unity. Two great characters that represent yin and yang elements in Western media would be Superman and Batman, with their personalities being polar opposites, but together they are unstoppable. And in my opinion, with the introduction of Kawaki, Boruto kind of, he defaulted back to Naruto's role as being the sun, and someone, that uses talk no jutsu as, for his opponents, doesn't believe in killing, that kind of thing. And he also represents the same ideals his father had, which, nothing's wrong with that, with that perspective. It's just that, those are grounds that we already covered. And I thought that it would have been a cool idea if Boruto's role switched with Kawaki, in terms of Kawaki following, Naruto's role, wanting to be a Hokage, wanting to emulate Naruto in every way, and Boruto resenting Kawaki because he feels he's either being replaced, or the same father that didn't have time for him a while ago now has all the time in the world for this new guy. I thought that was a dynamic that, maybe the anime or the manga could have, built up slowly, and that maybe that would have been the twist in both characters' relationship, and would explain or be a possible explanation as to why Boruto and Kawaki were fighting in the opening scene of the series. All in all, I hope 2023 is a great year for both the anime and manga, and that the anime does a great job on the code arc, and that, in my personal opinion, that we get some more Momoshiki in the manga. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. What are you expecting for Boruto as an anime and manga in 2023? Please share your thoughts and opinions, leave a like and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your day.